Hi, my name is Arne Pedersen from Awareness and Health, and today is episode number 3. And the main theme right now is self-confidence and self-esteem. And so today's topic is on clearing the clutter and how that opens up space to make change in our lives. And so I'm a hypnotherapist and an energy healer and a mindfulness teacher. And I spend a lot of time helping people to navigate through their internal emotional world, to make changes, let go of old patterns and beliefs and blocks so that they're able to move forward in a way that really supports where they want to go in life and to feel really good about themselves. And I'm thinking back a long time ago about clutter and how much that really affected my life. And when I was a teenager, I remember my bedroom that it was so filled with clutter and stuff and all my things that on the floor and everywhere. It was just an incredible mess, and I had to really plot kind of a course to walk through, and I didn't like stepping on my things, but they were just all over the place. And then later on, when I started doing, many years later, when I started doing a lot of personal self-growth work and all of that, and really starting to go into my emotions and start to understand my inner world, that I realized how much all of this clutter was really just an expression of how I felt on the inside. So all of this huge mess was really how I was feeling inside. I was feeling like a huge mess. And so our emotional world really expresses itself outside, and the clutter in that in our environment, our house, or in different parts of our lives. So that could be mental clutter, emotional clutter, and physical clutter. And so when we start looking at that, say in our house, that maybe we've lived somewhere for a long time and maybe we have finished or unfinished projects here and there. Interestingly, a lot of this stuff is really connected to stuff in the past. And if we're really wanting to make changes in our lives and move forward, we need to allow flow and allow space to open up. So when we start taking physical action to actually clean up the things that are in our day-to-day environment, it actually opens up space and it lets go of the old stuck patterns, and it helps to create flow so that we're able to all of a sudden have more momentum, more insight, and more clarity on where we're wanting to go. Now I'm thinking of a river, how there's always just flow coming down the river. And if we think of that flow as life, as in the moment, that's just life happening in the moment, this flow of life continually expanding, continually just moving. There's always this continuous flux and flow of change and expansion in life. And so if you imagine rocks, say we've got these big rocks and we plunk them down in this river that's flowing nice and gently, these rocks will create turbulence. And if you look at big rocks and objects in a river, you'll see that there are these back eddies behind the rocks. So the clutter in the stream actually creates, in a sense, energy to go backwards, and literally will start back eddying. And at one point in the back eddy, it's actually going in the direction of up the stream, and it just goes round and round, and it'll pick up little objects and it'll just move around, and it'll slow down the general flow of the stream. And if you get enough things coming down the stream, logs and things, it'll build up a log jam, and that'll really make these big jams in the river. And so if we think of that as our inner world, if we've got things in our life that are blocked, whether it be a mental, emotional, or physical things, it's actually just like that, creating these back eddies in our energy field. In our physical world, we literally have to walk around clutter. And in the household, we look at the clutter, and in the back of our mind, it's, oh, I should clean that up. And we just think about cleaning it up here and there. We're always reminded on a subconscious level. Maybe we feel bad about ourselves because we can't seem to be bothered to clean it up. But it's always there. So every time we walk by, we are actually putting energy to that. And the amount of energy that we put to really pushing this idea that we need to clean something out of the way, where it's always on our mind, we're always kind of pushing that away and ignoring it, that takes a lot of energy. And that's energy that could go to actually moving forward. So when we actually start cleaning that clutter, what happens is that it makes space. It makes space to make change. And I want to just throw something else out there I've been contemplating lately. When we were 10 years old, whatever we wore when we were 10, that made sense. That was completely congruent in alignment with what was going on in our life when we were 10. And all of the things that were happening in our life when we were 10, we were probably feeling stuff inside of us that was relative to them. And so it makes sense that today we wouldn't still be wearing the clothes we were wearing when we were 10. But quite often we still carry the emotional baggage, the emotional stuff, the emotional clothes, and the mental clothes of when we were 10 or when, long ago in the past. And so it's really helpful to start letting these things go. And it's just clutter. It's just clutter, just old habits, old way of looking at things. And so when we start moving physical clutter in our life, anything in our household, at work, or in our vehicle, where clutter often builds up, that physical effort is creating flow, and it's actually letting go of old patterns and old behaviors. And so I really want to put the question out there to look in your life, where is clutter building up? Does clutter build up physically in some places? And to challenge yourself, step out of your comfort zone, just sort of clean it up and see how it feels. And do you have any unfinished projects, things that you're wanting, you started and you never finished? That's clutter as well, something that's just always there and we're remembering it. And it makes us feel bad when we never followed through and finished it. So to look at these projects and to start moving through them and to start making change and expanding, and that actually opens up more flow in our life as well. And it's amazing how good we feel about ourselves inside. And being that this main theme is about self-confidence and self-esteem, it's amazing how good that feels. And that's really just taking care of ourselves, listening to what doesn't feel right in our life, and then cleaning that up and removing the blockages so then we can flow and just really be present with life where it is. And so I want to leave that with you, and to really just contemplate where in your life is clutter building up, and then take a look at emotional clutter and mental clutter and how it affects you, and challenge yourself. Clean up some things and adjust some things and see how it feels, and let me know. I'd love to hear what's going on with these things. And so next week is episode number 4, and that one is about our point of power is in the present moment. So if we're always doing things a certain way, if we always do what we've always done, we're going to get what we've always got. So if we're wanting to make changes in our life, we need to be really present and mindful with where we are right now. And when we're present, then we're able to navigate and co-create, consciously create with life in the moment to make change. It's like a map. If we have a map, and on the map that if we don't know where we are on the map, but we say, I want to go here on the map, how can we ever really get there? So we need to be really present with where we are and solid with where we are and grounded to be able to plot a course to make change and co-create with life. So I'm going to leave that with you, and I hope you enjoyed this episode today, and I'd love to hear your comments and feedback, and I look forward to seeing you next week.